Yeah.
Let's move on to movies. What was your favorite movies of this year?
Favorite movies. So there's still a bunch of them that we need to watch too.
I have a list of things I need to watch, so I'll actually say it at the end what I need to watch because I know there's some that people are like, "You didn't see this?
Yeah.
You should die."
Yeah,
You know?
I've got a list of those too. So my favorite probably was The Creator.
My Creator was amazing. A lot of people didn't like it as much as I did because
I loved it.
when I went to the theater, I saw reviews like, "Oh, this is very unoriginal," but it's like the scenery and the graphics were great. It had a very low budget, like compared to like Marvel movies and stuff like that. But to me, I loved it. It probably was my favorite movie this year too.
I think it was my like top
tier,
favorite.
for sure.
I thought it was great. I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was well written. I really liked and enjoyed the characters. Like, I loved it.
Yeah.
We just went and saw this last weekend. Wonka.
Wonka
Was great.
Wonka was one I when I heard it was announced. I'm not even the biggest Timothée Chalamet fan because I don't know much about him, and I'm a huge fan of the original. It's like one of my favorite movies.
Yes.
Didn't watch the version
Johnny
with
Depp.
Johnny Depp. Didn't want to. It just didn't. So when I'm hearing they're doing this again, I'm like, leave my classics alone. Stop, for God's sakes, stop it. Then I saw the trailer. I was like, I'm a little intrigued. The trailer didn't look that bad. Then we saw the movie. Man, the first thing I said to you is like, that made me feel good.
Yeah,
I loved it.
It was just one of those, like, the whole time you just feel happy inside
does,
as you
yeah.
watch it. Like,
You're rooting for
everything
Wonka.
about it, you're just like, oh my God, like, you just feel it festering in
Yes.
you. You just feel so happy.
You love all the
watching it.
characters. Everybody did a great job. Even the villains.
It
were
was
like,
great. The music was great.
Yes.
It's very much so a musical.
Yes.
You know, it's every
It was
10
perfection.
minutes or so. There's
perfection.
a song.
And there's like
But
little Easter
it
eggs
was
from the
great.
original. You see, if you're a fan of the original, you see the Easter
Yes.
eggs.
Yes.
And then there's some new things as well too. But like it's great, man. I was smiling a lot during that movie.
Yes,
really
I
felt
loved
great.
it. I loved it. And then there was one point where I was like, dang, I might cry. Like right
It did.
towards the end, I was like,
It hits your feels for sure.
ooh,
Yeah,
because
it does.
it was important for characters in the movie. Like there was really big things happening for them, but also it like brought back some like nostalgia from the original
Yes.
right at the exact same time, and I was like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
it was
good.
so good.
It was so good. What you got next?
Godzilla.
Godzilla.
-1.
Yes. I'm not even the biggest Godzilla fan. Like, you know, when the new Godzilla's been coming out, people flock to him. I'm like, I'll watch it eventually. Wasn't the biggest fan of Godzilla vs. King Kong. I know they got the television show on, and I know that there's a sequel to the Godzilla King Kong movie coming out. But this one, Japan, because that's originally their stuff. They're like,
Yes.
you know what? I see y'all doing your thing in America, but
You're doing it wrong.
Let's just bring it back home real quick. And boy, this is the first Godzilla movie I felt like I cared about the characters more than the Godzilla.
Yes, it's one of those that like it didn't have to be about Godzilla.
Yeah.
If you didn't have Godzilla in that movie at
still
all,
a
it
good
still
movie.
would have been a good movie.
Yes.
And
That's the difference
that's
between
the way a movie should be.
Exactly. Character development, and you should care about everybody. Like, that's the difference between this Godzilla movie and every other Godzilla movie. You're just like, okay, shut up. Where's Godzilla?
Where's the fight?
Godzilla? This time, I'm just like, you know, wow, this is a great movie. And you got Godzilla?
And he looks terrifying.
Yo, nightmares. There's scenes where he's like in the water, like looking like Jaws coming at him. I'm like, yo, that's gonna give me nightmares tonight. That was terrifying.
And I said this too, like
Psychopath.
immediately after watching it, I was like, there was something about it about Godzilla specifically, like the character, that I was just like, it just felt different in like the best way possible. Like it was the first time that I watched a Godzilla movie where like when you saw him standing there like in the city amongst the buildings and stuff, you were just like, holy cow. Like you're sitting in a seat and you're looking at a screen, but you still felt the need to like go like this, even though he's not right in front of you. Like it was wild the way that they were able to just make him so
You did feel like you were
scary.
there. Yeah.
Like I don't feel like I ever felt like that with any of the other ones. Like it just felt like, oh, okay, this is a toy sitting in the middle of a Lego city.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But this felt real.
It's just like the other ones feel like it's just destruction porn, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, best idea for a sequel of Oppenheimer was Godzilla. -1. What's your next one?
Spider-Man.
Across the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
Perfect sequel. Probably my second favorite movie this year.
I'm so upset we had to wait so long.
We gotta wait so long, and it pushed it back a little bit with the writer's strike and all that too. But yeah, that was great, and that cliffhanger was perfect. Like it's one of those movies where it was long, but like I could watch another 6 hours.
No, I was like, wait, they're stopping here?
Yeah.
I was like, wait, it was long, but like I actually really, really want to just keep watching whatever happens next in the story.
Miles is great. I loved watching the different Spider-Man, and it just there was a lot of Spider-Man, but it's still. You're still invested more in Miles Morales, or Gwen Stacy, or even Peter B. Parker and stuff like that. I loved it. I loved and the animation was on point. I just loved like the different types, and I just can't wait to see where this is going, especially with that cliffhanger.
Yeah.
It's great. What's your next one?
Next one, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That's not on my list, but I enjoyed it. I like the animation, and I like the fact that they did have kids.
I thought it was so good.
Yeah.
I loved it. I mean, I feel like I usually probably don't have like this many like animated things, but this was like a good year for animated movies.
It was.
That one was a really, really good one. Okay. I loved it.
All right.
The Holdovers.
Yes, that was feel like it could be a new Christmas classic where this kid was stuck at his private school while everybody else got to go home, and him and this teacher that don't get along had to make it work. And there was a lot of things in their lives that they were discussing. You could see the anger and depression from them, and they were just, it was a perfect Christmas movie.
Yeah,
I felt, and it felt like it was made in the 50s or 60s maybe.
I think it was early 70s.
So that's the time period was early 70s, but it felt like it was made in the early they
did a really, really good job with like the actual
moment.
Like production and like the cinematography, like even the transitions were very like early 70s.
Right.
The grain of like the footage was very like early 70s. Like it felt
the zoom ins, the zoom outs,
it felt like this was made in 72.
What I found out earlier, actually, I think this week, that the main character, that was his first movie.
He did great.
Like the other guy, of course, he's a seasoned actor, but
yeah.
But the kid in that movie, that was his first movie. Props to him for making our favorite movie this year. Like
he did great.
Yeah.
And the lady that played the cook, I liked her too. She was great as well. She had I feel like she did a really, really great job. Absolutely. Dealing with all the things that her character was dealing with.
Yeah.
In the movie.
All three of them.
They were all great.
Had like traumatic things that happened in their lives, and it's understandable, relatable.
Yeah.
What's your next one?
Next one. So I don't know if this is like a favorite, but I feel like it's really up there in the movies that we did watch this year. Dream Scenario.
Okay.
Which was the Nick Cage movie.
Yeah. That didn't make my list, but I did enjoy the originality of it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if it's like necessarily like a favorite, but I feel like out of the movies that we watched, it was definitely one of the one of the best ones.
For sure.
For originality and just like it was just so intriguing.
Right.
To watch, like you're just sitting there like, what is going on? The whole time.
It was a very unique premise, and I will say this: I feel like this was A24's year, and that was an A24 movie. This was a very good year for that company, and Nicolas Cage did a great job with that movie. And it's just a weird scenario where one person is in everybody's dreams every night, and it's like first he feels like a celebrity, and then people start to get a little freaked out by it, and then they're just like, okay, this is borderline harassment now. But he's not doing anything.
And it's nothing that he can control.
Exactly.
Either. It's just happening. And no one has an explanation for it. And everyone's just like, what the heck is going on? Like, this is just such a strange situation to be in. But
and they don't explain why it's happening, but at the same
which
time...
I think upset some people. But
yeah.
That wasn't the purpose of the movie.
Exactly.
So it didn't bother me any that I didn't
it's not explanation. You don't need an explanation. Just know what's happening and what would happen in this scenario.
It's very much so like a social commentary on a lot of different things that go on in the world today. So,
all right, what's your next one?
I put Past Lives on here.
I put it on there too. I like that one.
I thought it was a really, really good romance movie.
That one touched my heart, and it's one of those movies where like, look, the people don't get together in the end. They don't fall, they don't.
Spoiler.
Sorry, they don't become They don't get
It's
together in the end, but you could feel the love that they actually have toward each other.
It's good because it's a realistic, like, romance movie. You know, it's not this fantastical thing.
Yeah.
It's like, this is real life, and this is how things really do play out. And sometimes things
people
don't go
get
exactly the
together,
way that you think that they're going to go.
But you're always on their mind, stuff like that.
But certain things happen because, maybe those things are just meant to happen. And in this movie, in this lifetime, these things are meant to happen the way that they happened. So,
Absolutely. But no, it made my list too. I liked it a lot.
yeah.
And that was another A24 movie. Is that your last one?
There was another one that I forgot about that came out. And I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I enjoyed it. But we went and saw it in the theater, and you guys enjoyed it too. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
Oh, yeah.
It was
a good movie.
fantastic.
That came out early this year.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. We were all sitting there laughing. I feel like it's really,
hilarious.
really good movie, especially for women.
Yeah.
Just because you can sit there and really reminisce through, like, what it was like growing up as a girl and, like, trying to figure things out about being a woman.
Based on a classic
I think
book,
it was
too.
fantastic.
Yeah, I remember reading that when I didn't read it, but I remember seeing the book when I was
It was,
younger.
yeah, it's one of the most, like, I feel like popular
Judy Blume.
books,
Yeah.
of, like, probably, like, our kind of generation.
Yeah.
They probably don't read it so much now, but back then it was very, very popular. So I was like, I don't know. And I never read it either, actually, but I really enjoyed the movie.
I wouldn't mind
and
seeing
he
more of a
even
series.
enjoyed it as
Yeah.
well. It's so funny. Just the things that, like, they do, and you're like, yo, this is growing up as, like, being a young girl. You're like, this is so realistic.
Right.
You're like, this is stuff that we actually did, or things that we actually thought when we were growing up about what it was like to be a woman.
Facts.
So
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah. Well, I'll say mine. Half of yours are mine. So, like, I'll just go ahead and say I agree with the creator, Across the Spider-Verse, Godzilla -1, Wonka, Past Lives. I have that on my list. Guardians 3.
I had that one.
Guardians
I forgot.
3.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, this is the only Marvel MCU movie on my list. So, do better. But yeah, this one right here, James Gunn's last movie of his trilogy. Good thing he got to come back after being fired, so he got to finish his trilogy. To me, I liked it just as much as the first one. I liked it better than the second one. Great villain in that movie. Sad he's not going to be in Marvel movies anymore, but I do look forward to seeing what he's going to do with DC after seeing this. So
Hopefully he does something great.
He does something
They
great.
need it over there.
They did. He did a good Suicide Squad movie. He did a great Peacemaker show. and
Peacemaker
then-
was great. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, he's Guardians 3, amazing, good Marvel movie, probably the best, one of the best they've done since Endgame, honestly. I got The Artifice Girl. So The Artifice Girl is a more dialogue movie. It's the one with the girl that the guy invented. Yeah.
Oh,
I'll say the premise real quick.
Yes. The crime. The
crime.
Yes.
Yeah. So this
I
guy,
forgot about that one.
he invented this AI to try and trap pedophiles, which I thought this was like a perfect premise. I would have actually liked to see more of a live action version of this if they want to redo this premise in a live action movie. But his premise was to capture pedophiles by using an AI little girl. So she looks and talks just like a what, 12-year-old?
I think 12, 11 or 12. Yeah.
And so she's in these chat rooms showing pictures and videos and saying things to people, and immediately when they respond or whatever, the police are called and they're arrested. I thought, amazing premise.
Yeah.
I'm over here thinking it's gonna be more action though, like they're actually going to arrest these people, but it's just
Half
more,
of it, they're sitting there talking.
the movie's basically all dialogue. It's more of a social what's it called, a conscience movie where, like they're saying like
the morality. Of things,
they're talking about the morality of it, because also the girl is evolving and stuff like that. So she's
becoming
actually,
more and more and more like a real person.
like a real person. So she actually has a conscience and has feelings and stuff like that, and it has more of a conscience and stuff like that. So that, I thought it was really good. I love the premise of it. I do want to see maybe more of an action part of this, like where they actually do arrest the pedophile, or like you see the her in action doing it for real. But like this is more of the other side of like the police working with this guy that invented it. Very good movie. If you can deal with dialogue driven movies, I do recommend that one.
I forgot about that one. That one's a good one.
Bruiser, which is one we saw earlier this year, was on Hulu. It was about this kid that found out who his real father was by accident, and the real father and his stepfather have beef with each other. It's one of those movies where like you understand everybody's point of view, but like the only person suffering is the kid. It's a very touching movie. Two black men having to deal with this poor kid. The next one I would say is I was surprised how much I like Barbie, and I was not wanting to see Barbie.
Barbie was good.
Barbie was good, so it did make my list. Next I have No One Will Save You. So No One Will Save You was a Hulu movie, straight to Hulu movie, and was very unique. It's about an alien attack. Like it felt like Signs, where they were just like targeting this one person in their house in the middle of nowhere. But what's unique about this movie is nobody talks. It's kind of like a silent movie.
Yeah.
But it's still like in modern day. It's still like, you still hear like grunts or music and stuff like that, but like there's no dialogue. It's just like it's a suspenseful alien movie. No One Will Save You. Really
and what's
good.
so cool about it is like they really did do a great job with it being a silent film. Like it's just not something that you see very often anymore.
Very
so
unique.
when you do see it and they do it really, really well, it's like very impressive because you could still understand and feel all of the emotions and like
you're like, oh girl, don't
things that were going on. Like
Don't get in the closet,
she did a great job.
She did, absolutely.
Because this was a movie too where she pretty much had to hold her own. There
yeah.
wasn't really very many other people in this movie at all.
Exactly.
So it was her solely in a silent film. That's hard. That's hard,
especially in this day and age. Yeah.
So that was
And
impressive.
there's like there's things that happen in a movie where you don't know what. There's no talking, but you do know what happened. You're like, oh, okay, that's why this is going on because of this situation.
Yeah.
You got to use your common sense and the vibes of the.
Yeah.
But it's a very unique movie though. No One Will Say no. That's the one I just did. The Influencer. And I think this is one that is on that Shudder. I think is on Shudder. So it's about an influencer that goes to Thailand, and then there's people that are targeting her identity. And it's somebody that targets influencers. That's all I want to say. I don't want to give too much about this movie because I do think it's one of those like you should watch. And it's like influencers going to like other countries and just hi, look at me, I'm doing this, and then this person targets people like that, and it's kind of like a little horror /
they just
thriller.
start trying to mess with them.
Yeah. It's like a thriller. So yeah. And I think after that I have the same things you have. That's my list. Real quick, I'll go over the stuff we have not seen that we do want to see, just because I know people are like, you didn't see this, you didn't say this. Okay, so this is my movies to watch. Beau is Afraid.
Yes.
Dumb Money. 1001.
What is that?
That's the movie with
The singer.
Singer,
Yes.
Yeah.
I do want to see that.
But yeah, 1001. Killers of a Flower Moon.
Yes.
The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster. Outlaw of Johnny Black. Discontinued. Unidentified Objects. Lola. The Fall Guy, which I think comes out next year, by the way. Your Lucky Day. How I Learned to Fly. American Fiction. Next Exit, and Civil War. Some of those actually might come out next year, though. So
yeah,
that's
but there are a few of them that they're already out.
Yeah. Some of these I actually have ready to watch at any time. It took us a while to watch some of these we loved. So.
Yeah. I have Killers of the Flower Moon, Poor Things, The Color Purple musical.
Okay. Yeah, I think that one comes out next. Does that
I think it comes out the end of the year.
Okay, gotcha.
So soon,
Yeah.
or maybe it does come out the beginning.
Maybe it comes out in next month. I don't know, but I do want to see that one too.
I have American Fiction as well. A Good Person, Fallen Leaves, When Evil Lurks. I have Beau is Afraid, and Memory.
Okay.
So,
nice.
Bunch of them. We gotta get to it.
Absolutely. Well, this was our recap episode. Let us know in the comments, what are things we did not talk about that happened in 2023? What are some movies and television shows we have not seen that you recommend? Let us know in the comments. And hey, listen, Happy New Year. I hope your 2024 is off the chain. Much love, peace, and chicken grease. And hey, look out for Angel and Reset versus the Robo Karens coming in 2024.
Whoop whoop.
Much love, peace, and chicken grease.
honestly didn't even see it. I was like writing.
It's not dirty at all. I'm looking at it.
Add more to